Hello, how are you doing? My name is Rachel Kahugo. Very happy, very excited to be here to have this particular conversation. Today we are in Mombasa, and this is such an amazing, beautiful place to be. And we're not just in Mombasa, we are at Hazina Accelerator. And at Hazina Accelerator, what we do, because we are already part of Hazina Accelerator, is that we eradicate poverty, which is such an amazing aspect by itself, but then by providing support, financial support, to women and youth, among many other things that happens. Now, you and I are here to understand how that happens. So come on board as we get to interact with Zayad, who is the CEO of Hazina Accelerator. How are you?
I'm good, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having us at Hazina Accelerator.
Karibu
Such an
sana.
amazing place to be. And we've already had, this is just to let you know, you've had an amazing conversation already before coming on set. So I know that you, as an entrepreneur, you're going to gain so much from this. Once again, thank you for having us at Hazina Accelerator.
Welcome.
Please introduce yourself as your camera, then you can get going.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Zayad Alawi Said. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Hazina Group. Hazina Group is a group of social enterprises which promotes and helps women and youth come out of abject poverty. You'd ask me why women and youth. First, youth are the leaders of today, so we believe in shaping those leaders to build a better society. And women are everything. When you empower a woman, you've empowered the whole society. So our target is on women and youth, specifically because we want to build a better society. So Hazina is comprising of different enterprises, and we are here today because of Hazina Accelerator. Hazina Accelerator is a flagship initiative of Hazina Group Foundation, which is a charitable investment arm of the group, supporting early stage startup entrepreneurs with capacity building. So we provide them with training on how to run and grow their businesses. We provide them with mentorship support. So we link them with expert mentors. We provide them with seed funding. So the seed funding is in form of a competition. Not everyone gets to access the seed funding, but only the top 3 if and when they pass the due diligence. So the seed funding comes as 150 to the top one. The second one gets 100, and the third one gets 50. But they're all subject to scrutiny and due diligence process. We have a microfinance initiative as well, which supports now women in self-help groups and youth. So back to the accelerator, apart from the funding, we also link them to markets, and we also link them to investments.
Amazing. We'll be coming to the linking them to market, because I know that's very important. But let's talk about the funding first. Most of the startups and the SMEs, they talk about capital being the huge challenge in their businesses. And you said for Hazina is that the first 3, they're the only people who get to get the seed funding. So tell us about the process.
Okay, I want to correct some young people mindset. Capital is not everything, but capital to me comes as the 3rd requirement to start a business. The first thing you need is the knowledge. You need to know what exactly you are going to offer. What do people need? Because if you look at the statistics, we have over 80% of startup businesses failing every year. Why? Because they just don't know what the market needs. So having that knowledge of the market is very critical to the success of your startup. The second thing that you need after the knowledge is your network. Your network is your network. And they say network is a social capital.
Yeah.
So if I know you and you know somebody else, you could refer me or you could refer my business to that somebody else, and that is
Yeah.
how I grow.
Okay.
So I can simply start without a single cent, but just because I know the right people in the market,
Yeah.
then I get to sell and grow my business. And third
Amazing.
is now the money. Where is the financial capital? Where young people think that is number one, but to me it's number three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the same mentality and attitude that we have in Hazina Accelerator. When we onboard entrepreneurs, we don't give them money immediately. We first give them the skills that they need
Yeah.
to start and run their businesses. Then we expose them to different networks, and that is how we build their networks. And we give them now funding as the third aspect.
Okay.
So first we invest our own capital. As I mentioned, we have 300,000 in every cohort.
Yeah.
The first one gets 150, 100 the second one, and the third one gets 50. Those that get to prove to us that they can be able to manage the fund well and repay back, then we link them now to investors for bigger funding.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Amazing.
that's how the process is.
All right. All right. Now, as you can tell, this is to also help with creating employment for the young people, which is really beautiful. And this brings us to what was the thought behind Hazina Group as at large? What initiated the ideation of Hazina?
Well, we have a very rich history. Our history goes back to the year 2011, when I moved from Nairobi to Mombasa. And I moved because one of the commercial banks wanted to start a microfinance in the coastal region. And I took an interest to learn about the coast region as a whole. So the first thing I did was to do a research on IT penetration, because I'm a software graduate, software engineering graduate. And where I had studied, I saw a company that really inspired me to replicate in Kenya. This company was doing plastic money. So the same thing as M-Pesa, only that they were doing in a form of a Visa card.
All right.
Yeah, where it's a debit card, you top up, and you could use it anywhere. So I wanted to replicate that in the rural areas, where people go to the shops when they don't have money and all that. So we wanted to come up with a plastic money, and then give them like an overdraft facility where they can be able to use it in shops. So that was the idea behind. So when we went to the rural areas to do our research, we found that there was a huge gap. They were lacking the basic resources in terms of accessing finances, where to save their money. There were some microfinances that had penetrated in those markets, but they were exploiting them. A lot of them were taking them to police station when they failed to pay an installment, or they were removing their iron sheets and stuff like that, or even removing their beds and house belongings. So that was a big issue to me. So I said, instead of introducing technology, let me do the basic and introduce basic financial services to these people. So we created now the microfinance program, where we thought of the best way to empower these people was to offer loans that are friendly, that are cheaper than what the other players were doing. So we introduced Sharia compliant loans. In Sharia financing, you cannot charge interest. So if I give you 5K, you'll return 5K. So we actually came up with a model where we were giving loans at 0%. And because we wanted to sustain ourselves, we had to think of the best way to generate revenues. So we decided to come up with a subscription-based model,
Okay.
where all our members, irrespective of whether they have a loan, whether they don't have a loan, whether they have taken 1,000, whether they've taken 10,000, they are subjected to a uniform subscription fee at the end of the month.
Okay.
So that's how the journey started. And as we progressed, we had more and more demands coming to us.
Okay.
Like a number of young people needed some basic training in business. We had people who wanted to cover their risks. So we created different entities to be able to cover or to meet the different demands of the community. Yeah.
Interesting. And from the story you just given, is that you can tell that as Hazina Group and yourself, is that you've done the market research for the ecosystem of the people in Mombasa.
Yes.
What would you say is the gap that is in business for the people who are in entrepreneurship or the people who would want to get into business generally? What would you say is the gap that's there now?
Yeah. Not just in Mombasa, but in the coastal region.
Okay.
Because Hazina has tapped into Mombasa County, Kilifi. Kilifi is where we started.
All right.
And Kwale County. Yeah. And I can tell you the biggest gap is knowledge. The biggest gap is knowledge.
Okay.
Because a number of young people want to get into business because they have seen so-and-so doing good. They have seen somebody making money, so they want to make money.
Yeah.
But 99% of them fail within the first 5 years, just because they do not have the market knowledge.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is the biggest gap. And I am glad that a number of players have come into the ecosystem, and they're trying to bridge that gap, where they're able to give the right skills to the young people so as to grow their businesses instead of just starting and failing after a few months.
Okay. Now, at Hazina Accelerator, do you have programs that are able to bridge the gap of knowledge? Tell us about it.
Yes, so Hazina Accelerator as well is a program, a big program that is open to all the 47 counties in Kenya.
All right.
We provide them with training. So how we've structured the accelerator now, because we are now in cohort 5, and every cohort is a learning phase for us. So we keep on improving the program. So how we've structured it is the initial group goes through stage 1, where they access virtual trainings. So after they have finished the virtual trainings, then we take them through a 1-week boot camp, now which is stage 2.
Okay.
So the 1-week boot camp now brings them together as entrepreneurs, giving them the right networks, and also bring them together with the coaches. So it is an intense training. After the boot camp, then they do graduation, which is a demo day. They are also exposed to investors, because we normally invite different stakeholders to the graduation. After the graduation, now they go to stage 3. Now stage 3 is where they are linked with expert mentors, one-on-one. So they are able to be assisted on the different issues within their business, and this is how we prepare them now to external funding.
Great.
And apart from the accelerator, we do a lot of trainings when it comes to business trainings, financial management, leadership. We were in Nakuru last 2 weeks just to facilitate entrepreneurship training.
Okay, that's great. So Hazina Accelerator is not only in Mombasa, which is really
it's all over Kenya.
It's all over Kenya, and hopefully very soon beyond Kenya.
Very soon crossing the border, going to Tanzania.
Amazing. We was in the spirit. Now let's talk about some of the challenges that you faced as an entrepreneur support organization.
Challenges are many. Challenge number 1 is sustaining the programs. A number of young people, I am sorry to say this, but young people love free things. And I think they are spoiled by programs that are fully funded.
Yeah.
So the first challenge that we face when we onboard entrepreneurs and we ask them to pay a subsidized fee, we charge a subsidized fee for our programs.
Yeah.
Majority of them find it very hard to pay.
Yeah.
Others are even asking, why should I pay and I can access this for free? I'm glad that the US-based organizations are cutting funding.
Yeah.
So many programs would not have funding to run their, many organizations will not have funding to run their programs.
Yeah.
And that means they would now resort to charging entrepreneurs so that at least young people will be able to appreciate what is being offered to them.
For sure.
So the biggest challenge we face is sustaining the programs because we find very few entrepreneurs are ready to pay for such programs.
Yeah.
And running a program like Hazina Accelerator, I will tell you, it takes an arm and a leg to actually complete it successfully.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of investments that you have to do. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I hear you. Now, Hazina Accelerator and Hazina Group as large, you've been closely working with ASEC. How has that been able to impact Hazina?
All right, interesting. ASEC, for those who don't know ASEC, is an umbrella association of startups and SME enablers in Kenya.
Yeah.
We joined ASEC in the year 2023, so we are 2 years as members of ASEC.
Yeah.
And I can tell you ASEC has provided us with the right networks. I mentioned last 2 weeks I was in Nakuru.
Yeah.
And this is a collaboration that we did with Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies through the Keep Skies project.
Yeah.
And it was through ASEC that brought Hazina and Rift Valley Institute together that we could actually compare and try to synergize the two, the efforts of the two organizations, and we got a way of collaborating.
Yeah.
So you can see that is something that came out of the membership of ASEC. If we were not part of ASEC, probably I wouldn't even know Rift Valley Institute. It was my first time being in Nakuru. Probably I would never have been to Nakuru city, just pass. I've been to Eldoret and I normally pass through there. Okay. And we've collaborated also with other organizations, namely Swahili Port, Sote Hub, Yepi, and these are all networks that we have been able to build as a result of the different forums and events organized by ASEC.
Okay, okay, that is great. Now, maybe this would be the last question as you wind up, but we have an amazing success story that you'll be getting in a few minutes. Is that what would you say is the importance of collaborations and working together with other ESOs and of course ASEC as well?
I am big on collaboration, and I owe my success and the success of the organization to the many collaborations that we have built.
Yeah.
No man is an island, and you cannot do everything alone.
Yeah.
Even raising a home, you cannot raise a home alone. You need a partner.
Yeah.
So the same thing happens in business. You definitely need other partners so as to build a strong business.
Yeah.
So I cannot emphasize enough the importance of collaborating with other organizations, because you then try to bring the strengths of each organization and then you build a very strong ecosystem.
Yeah.
So collaboration is key
Yeah.
to success of organizations.
All right, okay. And I know that that goes to all the ESOs and everyone who's in business generally, and you've heard why it's very important for you to collaborate with other people, but also why it's important for you as an SME, as a startup, to join Hazina Accelerator program. All right. Thank you so much for being with us on this conversation. Thank you for having us at Hazina Group. It's an amazing place and we've learned a lot already. Thank you so much for your time, for being there. We do value your time highly. Now we're going to have a success story that will just help you understand the journey of one of our very own who's been able to go through the hands of Hazina and now running an amazing, sustainable business. Bye-bye.
So my name is Shukri Said Tahir from Ahlan Briquettes. Basically, Ahlan Briquettes is a company that makes charcoal briquettes from coconut waste. Our briquettes are smokeless, they last longer, and they're more economically friendly to the common 1-inch. Ahlan Briquettes is a product of Hazina Accelerator. We were part of cohort 2 back in 2022, and we were a beneficiary of the 100,000 shillings because we came second place. So Hazina really helped us grow our business in terms of market linkages and in terms of business development support. They taught us a lot on how to pitch your business idea to investors that were also available at the time when we were going through the program. And it helped us a lot because the money that we won went into getting our first packages that we sent out to supermarkets. It also helped us acquire our CAB certification, which is a necessity when going into the retail market. Okay, so we started this business about 15 years ago with the main aim of helping women in the kitchen not go through what our mothers went through and what us as kids went through growing up, because I grew up in a Swahili household where cooking was literally one of the main activities done every single day. And the inhalation of the fumes that came out of the charcoal that they were using was very detrimental to my health. So we came up with a solution to make charcoal briquettes that were completely smokeless, so eradicating the health factors that come along with using traditional cooking fuels. And so far, so good. We've managed to impact a lot of lives, especially in rural areas around Kilifi and Mombasa. And we're hoping to impact more lives as we move along. So as you can see, this is a sample of our product. We make our charcoal briquettes from coconut waste. We tend to mitigate climate change because we see that it's a big problem that we've been facing over the years. So we pride ourselves in making a product that was made through waste recycling rather than deforestation. So yeah, I'm grateful to Hazina Accelerator, and I would urge any young person out there who has a business to come through and to see how they can be helped in growing their business and advancing their lives. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ayad Said. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Hazina Group Foundation, the mother company behind Hazina Accelerator. Hazina Group Foundation joined ASEC in the year 2023 after meeting the CEO in another event here in Mombasa. And before we were a member, when the CEO introduced her members, she actually called me on stage and introduced me as a member of ASEC because I was part and parcel of the ecosystem. So I'm glad to be a member of ASEC. It has really exposed us to the networks, and we are grateful for the journey so far. So in a nutshell, Hazina Accelerator is a business acceleration program that supports early stage startup entrepreneurs with training, mentorship, seed funding, and linkages to markets as well as investments. Thank you very much, ASEC. I'm glad to be a member of the association.